Well, hello FME friends. I'm just doing this video to show you the answers and the results of round one of the 12 Days of FME contest for 2022. Just to review what it's about, the whole scenario is we're sending the FME Lizard and the FME Zipster on a tour of partner locations. They're going to travel to different cities around the world, meet with partners, talk to users, explore the culture of the area. And every round we will set you an FME challenge and also give you some general quiz questions. And each one you get right, it gives you a certain number of entries into the prize draw at the end. And we've got some fantastic prizes, so you won't want to miss out. Okay, round one, we are starting out in Vancouver. Let's do the Zipster quiz first. Let's do the quiz answers first. So, let's see. They've basically, hopefully you know a little bit about Vancouver because you visited on the world tour or the user conference, I should say. And so some of these questions you might know already. If you didn't, you can Google it, that's fine. I don't want to stop you doing that. And if you don't know and you can't find out, just make a guess because each correct answer gets you a entry into the draw, and so it's worth guessing, I'd say. Okay, the questions. La Casa is a business in the world record books having 238 varieties of what food? It is ice cream. So congratulations if you got that right. That's one of my favourite places in Vancouver. The Playground of the Gods is a series of hand-carved totem poles on Burnaby Mountain, which is a suburb of Vancouver. What culture do they represent? Well, you might think it's Indigenous Canadian, but actually it's Japanese. Because I think Burnaby is twinned with the city in Japan, and it was sort of a cultural exchange, and so they built these this hand-carved sculptures in Burnaby Mountain, for Japanese style. An area of Vancouver is named for a man who owned a bar there many years ago. What was the name given to him? That would be Gassy Jack. I think most of you knew that. Gassy as in talks a lot, not gassy as in full of gas. So that's what that's about. The motto on City of Vancouver coat of arms is what? It is not Go Canucks Go. It's by sea, land and air we prosper, because I say we, I don't live there anymore, but city has its entry by sea, by land and by air, and so, yeah. Vancouver sits on the land originally occupied by which people? That is the Squamish, Musqueam, and I'm going to pronounce this badly, I'm sorry, Tsleil-Waututh. To go through the other ones, the Cree, OG Cree and Dakota, that is Manitoba and Saskatchewan prairie area. You can't, obviously these people don't have the same boundaries as the province has boundaries, so there's a lot of overlap between that, but that's the general area. Nakota Sioux, Blackfoot, that's Alberta area, and Micmac and Wallace. That's East Coast. I think it's either New Brunswick or Nova Scotia. Major film production studios have earned the city which nickname? It is Hollywood North. Yeah, I mean, you can't live in Vancouver for very long without stumbling across a movie shoot at some point, and it's a very popular place. The sculpture, The Spirit of Haida Gwaii, the Jade Canoe, greets visitors to which Vancouver organisation? That would be Vancouver Airport. And you may have seen it flying in or out. And if you've not, then you get the chance, go check it out. It's a fantastic sculpture. I love it, yeah. And when you attend the FME User Conference, you see these vehicles carrying out their trade in the Bay to the north. That would be float planes, taking off and landing in the bay, and we see them all day when we're at the user conference. We don't really have water taxis in Vancouver. That was the other popular answer. I think there's one that goes over to Granville Island, but that's it. There is a boat that goes over to the North Shore that you can see from the conference, but that's part of the transit system. It's not really a taxi. It's running on a schedule. So float planes was what I was getting at there. So congratulations if you got all of those right. If you didn't get them all right, still, for every one you did, you get an entry into the prize draw. So that's all good. Let's go back now and look at the challenge. So the Lizards challenge is this. Lizard and the Zipster at Vancouver Airport. It's Thursday the 8th of June, 2023, 8 a.m. I just made that date up, really. I just wanted to pick something that was far enough away from time changes, like daylight savings and that sort of thing, occurring midway through. So, yeah, I just picked that. Don't know why, just did. They need to buy some tickets. That's our job, to find where to go. They'll go to any city, but they want to meet there on Friday the 9th of June at 9 a.m. To use the travel time well, they want to arrive as near as possible in time to that meeting time. So if they arrived in 7:30 in the morning, that's great. But if they could arrive at 8:30, that would be better. 8:45, better still. 9 o'clock would be perfect. What flights do we have available? What cities are there? Well, they're in the data set provided. Flight departures are all local times. So that's one of the big challenges, is taking into consideration time zones. Stopovers are permitted, but obviously the incoming flight has got to land before the outgoing flight leaves. And we don't really care about timing. We're going to say that all flights are on time. We don't have to worry about getting through the airport, picking up the luggage, that sort of thing. We're just going to assume that's no time at all, which will be nice, but not realistic. But that's what we're going to do, make it simpler. And again, there's no time taken to get from the airport to a meeting place. We're just going to say, if you arrive at the airport at 7:30 in the morning, say, that's the time that's important. So that's really what we've got to do. We've got to go through these flights and figure out, okay, so what time do we take off? How long is the duration of the flight? What time does it arrive? And what time would that be in the local time? And then we can see if we want to do any stopover flights as well. And there's only 12 flights in this first data set, so you can calculate it manually. Really, you'd be better off with a workspace. It'll be quicker, and all of the other puzzles are on the same line, so it will just get easier as we go along if you've got a workspace to help you. Yeah, and you can see I'm doing this while there's still a little bit of time left, so obviously I'm not going to publish this video till later. Okay, let's look at some of the data. So this is the city data set. So we've got Amsterdam is the city, Victoria is the partner, latitude, longitude, and then the UTC offset, which is the time zone offset from, UTC, or Greenwich Mean Time, if you want to call it that. So these are all the cities, and these are going to remain the same throughout the whole competition. So once you've got the city data set, you've got the city data set, that's fine. For puzzle 1, we've got these flights. So there's only 12 of them. So for example, Vancouver to Montreal, that's the flight number, that's the time it takes off in Vancouver, that's the number of hours and minutes it takes to get there, and the number of seats available. And so really what we're doing is we're taking that time, adding on 4 hours, 50 minutes, figuring out what time it is in Montreal when it gets there, and that's the answer. And so we'll go through all of these different flights, find out which one gets closest to 9 a.m. on that date, and and we'll be happy. So I'm going to show you my workspace. I don't want to show you it too much detail because obviously I don't need you to be copying stuff, and hopefully you figured it out already. It's not too big a deal. We're just putting the information together, applying the takeoff date, time. So I've set a takeoff date as a published parameter. So you say, oh, we're taking off on June the 8th. Why do I need that? Well, because these flights go overnight and we want to know what day we're arriving. And you'll see why that's important in a minute. So we just add the time on, calculate the landing time in local time. What does this be doing? Oh, it's the UTC offset. And then the date time converter at the end is just to make it a bit more readable. So what have we got? We've got these flights. This is the flight origin, the destination, the flight number, all of that information, and this is the local landing time of the flight. So we want one that lands as close as possible to 9 a.m. on Friday the 9th of June. So the ones that get there on Thursday, well, they're not particularly useful for us because they don't arrive on the Friday. They arrive fairly early as well. Actually, there's only 2 of those, Denver and Montreal. So really, they're just stopover points. So you can fly from Vancouver to Denver, Denver to Munster, Vancouver to Montreal, Montreal to wherever, and so on. There's some that don't arrive until Saturday, Vancouver to Auckland, Auckland to Vancouver to Brisbane, and that's why I need to have the day there, because otherwise I might think, oh, they arrive on time. Well, they do, but they arrive on the Saturday, so that's no good. They're the whole day late, and that's obviously because of the day change going westerly. And that's the other reason this one down here is wrong. It says Brisbane to Sydney arrives at 8:58. Like, wow, that's great, just 2 minutes off. But the flight into Brisbane didn't get there till Saturday, so really the Brisbane to Sydney flight doesn't take off until Saturday, so it's Saturday that it arrives. So that I just didn't build that little bit into my workspace to handle that. So really what we've got are these times and dates. So we're getting to Brussels at 4:52 in the afternoon. That's not great. Tokyo, 4:30 in the afternoon. Better, but not great. Stockholm at 12:05. Lausanne, 8:50. Denver, Munster, 8:22. Sao Paulo, 8:20. And 8:05 for Paris. So the closest one is Lausanne. Except to go from Lausanne, the flight leaves at 18:10. That's the time the flight leaves Montreal to get to Lausanne. What time do we arrive in Montreal? Vancouver to Montreal. Oh, doesn't get there till 7:15. So you can't pick Lausanne because the flight leaves Montreal before the one from Vancouver gets there. So that's scrubbed from the list. Denver to Munster, 8:22. Is that the better one? Yes, except there's only one available seat there. And we can't fly the Lizard and the Zipster when there's only one seat. They need 2. There's 2 of them. I mean, I know they're small. They could perhaps fit in the same seat, but we don't want to do that to them. So yeah, only one seat there, so that's no good for us either. Which leaves these 2, Montreal to Sao Paulo. It makes the connection. There's enough seats. That's the answer, Sao Paulo. Yeah, and the one to Paris gets in a little bit earlier, 8:05, but still the Sao Paulo flight is the one. So it is Sao Paulo flight SFE 444, and it arrives Friday, June the 9th at 8:20 a.m. And a lot of you got that right, which is great. Now, just to prove that this really is what I say it is, and that is the correct answer, let me go back to my web browser. We've got a calculator here. So if I say that it is June the, the 8th? Yes, June the 8th, 2023. I could have picked it off a calendar. What time are we leaving Montreal? We are leaving Montreal to go to Sao Paulo. That's 21:30, and it's a 9-hour, 50-minute flight. So 21:30, and we're adding on 9 hours. Whoops. Yikes, what did I do there? Didn't mean to do that. We're adding 9 hours, 50 minutes, and 00 seconds. And it would arrive Friday the 9th of June at 7:20, but that's 7:20 Montreal time because we haven't dealt with the time change yet. So it left Montreal at 9:30, 9 hours 50 minutes later is 7:20 a.m. in Montreal time. Okay, so let's go and check this other one here. If we are in Montreal, okay, oh, we've already got Montreal there. So if we say we're in Montreal and it is June the 9th, what time did I say we arrive? 7:20 Montreal time. So if we say it's 7:20, it's giving me happy faces and sad faces, but that's just because it's pretending I'm meeting someone there. So Montreal, 7:20 on that date. What time would it be in Sao Paulo? It would be 8:20, which is what we're looking for. There's now a different. I was just like, no, that's not right, but it is 8:20. So yeah, so if the flight arrives 7:20 Montreal time, the difference is 8:20, which is what we calculated. And so, yeah, you can use this website just to check your calculations. I wouldn't do it using that website because it's a bit of a, it'll get more and more of a pain as we go on through the exercises. But yeah, so that's the solution to this. Congratulations if you got it right. If you got it wrong, and especially if you got caught out by not making the flight in time or having no seats available or fewer seats than we needed, well, hey, it sounds like in that case maybe your workspace is fine, you just didn't take that into account. And if you totally got something different, well, hopefully this has helped you, and you can still carry on and do the next steps. You'll just have to maybe fiddle with your workspace a bit to get it to produce the right answer here first, and then you can go on and do the rest of the challenges. But yeah, I hope this has been fun for you so far. Like I said, I'm just going to mention we've got some fantastic prizes available. Here we go. So prize one is the Balance Planet Inflatable Yoga Ball. That's by, well, it's Red Geographics. That's our partner in the Netherlands. That's Hans makes that. The globe is by Mova Globes. That was the same prize we had last year. And the hand-printed cyanotype maps is by Something About Maps. It's a cartographer, Daniel, who lives in the US, I think it's Michigan area. So yeah, some great hand-printed maps there. I love that. So yeah, those are the prizes we're playing for. I don't know which one counts as first prize, second prize, third prize, but we'll figure that out when we get to it. So anyway, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for taking part in the contest, and good luck with round two. Okay, bye.